and welcome back to the daily edition of Into Vietnam, only here on VITV channel, following some major stories. HSBC shows its optimism of Vietnam trade outlook. Vietnam spent $800 million on automobiles in the first 8 months of the year. And brain drain risk is looming as the ASEAN Economic Community formation comes close. The HSBC branch in Vietnam officially announced the periodical report on Vietnam trade connection prospects in the HSBC Trade Connection Report. It shows great optimism on the country's trade outlook. The report says Vietnam garment and textile has retained a firm foothold in the international market thanks to low and therefore competitive labor cost and desired geographical location in Asia. Telecommunication and information equipment has reached out to become the second largest export items of Vietnam and is on a good development trend. The HSBC believes that the growth of garment, textile and telecommunication exports will boost Vietnam's annual export growth rate by more than 11% in 2014-2020 period. The bank says more than 50% of surveyed companies says that trade activities will see more buzz in the next 6 months, and a third of them attributed this to higher demand from Vietnam's major export markets. The latest report by the General Customs Department shows completely built unit imports into Vietnam in the first 8 months of the year stood at more than 5,750 units, worth $135 million. Although Vietnam's automobile imports rose 170% in volume and 190% in value against the corresponding period last year, the accumulative amount in the 8 months period dropped 16% and 22% respectively, in which more than 90 cars accounted for 16,475 units, worth $200 million. Trucks accounted for more than 15,200 units, worth $350 million. Between January and August, more than 37,270 automobiles were imported in Vietnam, valued at more than $806 million. Versus the same period last year, automobile imports rose 71.5% in volume and 91.9% in value. The ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, will be realized in 2015. With the Common Economic Community, workers among ASEAN countries are free to go to any market in the bloc. Meanwhile, working conditions in Vietnam are still relatively unattractive compared with other countries in the region. This will be a potential risk for the phenomenon of brain drain in Vietnam in the future.
Response to the warnings about the liberalization of labor markets that will occur when the ASEAN Economic Community is officially formed, Trần Việt Anh, CEO of Nam Thái Sơn Import-Export Committee, said he was well aware of the importance and the challenges that it poses. His committee has engaged in production and export of plastic products for many years and is a labor-intensive enterprise. He says that the working environment in Vietnam is not really attractive to managers and the so-called brain workers. Therefore, when the labor markets are liberalized, Vietnam will lose a lot of talents.
Ta hay nói là thách thức hoặc là một cái rủi ro, đó là cái dao động Việt Nam được dịch chuyển ra. Thì tôi nghĩ đúng là một cái điều cần lưu ý. Nhưng mà tôi nghĩ cái vấn đề này nó không quan trọng bằng cái việc là những cái lao động của người Việt Nam có tay nghề dịch chuyển ra thì tôi nghĩ sẽ không nhiều. Nhưng những nhà quản lý của Việt Nam sẽ dịch chuyển ra ở nước ngoài rất nhiều. Vì thật sự với cái mức thu nhập ở Việt Nam và môi trường làm việc Việt Nam chưa có một cái sự hấp dẫn với những nhà quản lý ở Việt Nam.
The ASEAN Economic Community with 10 member states has recognized the importance of promoting intra-regional free trade and accelerating the process of connecting its members in order to promote the prosperity of each member. ASEAN aims to create a single market and production base for its members promoting the free flow of goods, services, investment, and skilled laborers. Accordingly, many businesses said the Asian economic community will serve as a common playing field with fair competition, so it will also be the time to force businesses and workers in Vietnam to change themselves to be able to integrate well into this huge playground.
Thì tôi nghĩ đây nó cũng như là một cái thị trường mở, có nghĩa là có đi và có về. Thế và chắc chắn một điều rằng là nó sẽ tạo ra cho một cái sân chơi bình đẳng giữa Việt Nam và các cái lao động ở trong khu vực, và bản thân các cái doanh nghiệp cũng như là những cái người sử dụng lao động thì cũng sẽ phải làm sao đó để làm mình thu hút được nhân tài, thì cái này cũng tạo ra cái áp lực để sẽ thay đổi.
With the opportunities and also challenges that the liberalization of labor markets will bring, the country's authorities said that the risk of loss of highly trained workers or brain drain will take place because under the law of supply and demand, workers will find an optimal working environment, a workplace that will create more opportunities for themselves. The transfer of laborers will only bring positive results if workers can learn advanced technologies to bring back to their country.
Hội nhập vào cộng đồng ASEAN, chúng ta sẽ không cạnh tranh lợi với cái lực lượng lao động của các nước khác đến. Bởi vì chúng ta thiếu những yếu tố về kỹ năng nghề và có thể chúng ta sẽ thua trên sân nhà. Cái thứ hai, một luồng ý kiến thứ hai cho rằng khi hội nhập ASEAN thì lao động chất xám chúng ta sẽ đi hết. Tôi cho rằng có thể cái hội nhập ASEAN chúng ta sẽ mất đi một số cái lượng lao động giỏi, không? Nhưng tôi tin rằng những lượng lao động giỏi đó họ vẫn có tấm lòng yêu quê hương và họ sẽ hướng về quê hương để họ xây dựng một đội ngũ kế thừa cho chính mình và họ góp phần tác động cho cái thế hệ thanh niên hiện nay sẽ hoàn chỉnh hơn, tốt đẹp hơn, và chưa kể cái nguồn ngoại tệ họ sẽ đóng góp cho nước nhà.
Deeper integration into the ASEAN will provide more choices on exporting markets for Vietnam. The AEC will have Vietnamese workers have more job opportunities, particularly those with highly specialized skills. However, with many sectors that Vietnamese workers' weaknesses exposed to, Vietnamese businesses will not able to compete or laborers, and brain drain will certainly happen under the current working conditions in the country. Therefore, according to Vietnamese authorities, workers should improve skills, contributing optimal productivity for enterprises, and by the same time, enterprises themselves should have a good treatment regime to retain workers. According to forecasts by Vietnamese authorities, 8 professions will see a high transfer of workers, including architects, auditors, engineers, dentists, doctors, nurses, investigators, and tourists.
And now let's stay tuned for updated news from the banking industry. The State Bank of Vietnam forecasts Vietnam's credit will grow at 12 to 14% in 2015. One of the bases for the above forecast is the Socio-Economic Development Plan for 2015, which drives a GDP growth rate of 6 to 6.2% and inflation at around 7%. Accordingly, the total means of payment will increase 16 to 18%. Outstanding loans will rise 12 to 14% compared to the end of this year and be based on actual developments to adjust accordingly. The exchange rate will also be operated flexibly to ensure stable value for Vietnam dong and raise the foreign exchange reserves. According to a report, as of August the 29th, compared to the end of last year, the total means of payment rose 9.09% and capital mobilization grew 8.52%, in which mobilization in Vietnam dong rose 9.94% and mobilization in foreign currencies slipped 0.1%. As of July the 29th, credit to economy grew 6.21% from the end of last year and 12.35% on year. VietinBank said its credit growth in 8 months reached 6%. Earlier, according to consolidated financial statements in 6 months, VietinBank's credit growth in 6 months was 0.45%. At the extraordinary shareholders meeting in July, VietinBank's leader said the bank's total outstanding loans to the economy in 6 months grew 2.8%. The figure included guarantees and investment in corporate bonds, which is prescribed by the State Bank to be counted as credit. If calculating on the figures of 2.8%, Vietinbank's NPL ratio would be 2.05% instead of 2.53%, as in the consolidated financial statements for 6 months. The United States Trade and Development Agency has provided $700,000 in non-refundable aid to the pilot application of Vietnam's Smart Grid project that will help Vietnamese energy companies efficiently manage the use of electricity during peak hours and optimize power distribution. The agreement is part of a program connecting Vietnamese partners with the United States leading experts in the field of energy, thus helping Vietnam better manage the use of power when the country's electricity output is expected to double in 2025. Once implemented nationwide, the solution can help save up to 300 megawatts during peak hours. As of September the 11th, Vietnam's rice exports in 2014 reached more than 4.3 million tons, valued at $1.98 billion. According to the Vietnam Food Association, in the first 11 days of September, the country exported over 127,000 tons of rice, worth $57.2 million. The average rice export price in the first days of September reached $407.8 per ton, a slight decrease from that of August. As of September the 12th, Vietnam 5% broken rice cost $450 per ton, up $5 per ton over the previous month, and $85 compared to the same period last year. Vietnam has become an interesting and attractive tourist destination for visitors from Europe, especially the United Kingdom. Figures from the General Statistics Office showed the number of tourists from the UK from 2007 to 2013 has increased. Last year, Vietnam received 184,600 British tourists. In the first 8 months of this year, it received 144,800 British tourists, representing a 17.2% year-on-year increase. Because of this, Vietnam now views the UK as one of its key sources of tourists from Europe. The country's tourism industry is attempting to attract more tourists from the UK by building suitable tourist products, strengthening promotion programs, and developing strong links to aviation and tourism companies. It has also simplified immigration procedures and is enhancing international cooperation alongside market research. As usual, the final part is the summary of the local gold prices, foreign exchange rate, and stock market. Well, our program has come to an end. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you soon and goodbye for now.